This is the plaintiff, Wayne Van Hoos. He says he and the defendant have been friends for over 25 years. So being here in court today is difficult, but what's right is right. He did some painting and contracting work for the defendant and was never paid because he had a falling out with her son. So he's here seeking the $1,713.50 he's rightfully owed. This is the defendant, Sylvia Cardona. She says the plaintiff became very aggressive towards her, was causing her a lot of stress, and she soon decided she couldn't work with him anymore, so she cut ties. It's laughable for the plaintiff to sue her today because she let him live in a room in her house, and he turns around and drags her to court? Please. She's accused of failing a friend. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $4,105 for damages caused by the plaintiff.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. These litigants were friends for a quarter century, but the plaintiff says the defendant stiffed him on a contractor's job. The defendant says that she let him live in her house, so really? It's the case of the contractor who got nailed.
Thank you, Douglas. Wayne Van Hoos, you are suing your former friend Sylvia Cardona for costs associated with renovating an apartment she rented to you, and you are counterclaiming against him costs associated with bringing it back to the way it was before he was there. Okay, you two have a long and storied past. Tell me about it, Mr. Hoos. Let's start with you.
Hi, good morning. Yeah, it's lamentable and an unfortunate circumstance that brings us here today. We have a friendship that spans over a quarter century.
So you two knew each other for 25 years. Did you ever date or no?
No, it wasn't a dating
you were friends for
circumstance.
25 years,
Yes.
okay.
So-
And then you moved back into town.
Back into the state of California last spring, correct,
Okay.
after which time she reached out to me and had always expressed an interest in my particular skill set.
Which is?
Project management. I worked for a corporation for 30 plus years.
Okay, and why was she interested in that? You're a dentist, right?
I am a dentist, but I also own real estate.
How much real estate do you own?
I own two large multi-housing properties in Arizona.
How many?
79 units total.
Okay, now I understand. All right, so you just wanted some overseer that wasn't you because you're busy practicing dentistry.
Right,
All right.
absolutely.
So you get hired to do that, and she also rents you a room in her home.
That's correct.
Okay, who else is living there?
Her daughter when she's at home, when she's not going to school, her son and her son's best friend.
Okay, does she live there?
Yeah, she has.
Okay, so she rents you a room there. Mm-hmm. That didn't work out so well, did it? Because I can't help but notice that you're here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you move in, but you don't like the room or you want to do some changes to the room. Do you ask permission to do the changes?
Yes, I had permission for it. I ran every paint swatch by her. The shower door, the closet doors, they had to be taken up. They had puff paint all over them from her other family members.
Was
that
there
lived
ever any agreement that she would pay you for the renovations that you were doing?
Not that I'm aware of, other than to say, yeah, there was an agreement based on my employment with her. And she said, well, come work for me full-time, pay you this much per hour, 40 hours a week. We'll translate that into a salaried position. And oh, by the way, I understand you need a home. I have this. Here's the rent, $300 a month. Happy to have you in home. And
$300 a month?
Yeah, it was great.
Okay.
And then the office would be established downstairs. So the commute would be from upstairs to downstairs.
Oh, and then you get to work right out of the office, an office in the home?
Yes.
All right, so you end up painting, for which you want to be reimbursed about $200. You bought bathroom accessories. Are you referring to plumbing fixtures?
There were no towel rods at all. The room was bereft of any of those things. So I bought a towel bar.
Okay, but who was paying for all these things?
As I put it forward to her, every time I would make these investments, I said, hey, it's great. Thank you for the opportunity to work with you, to live in your home. You've given me a great rate. Based on the 4.5, 5 years, I don't have
Do you have a 4.5, 5-year lease?
We didn't have a lease.
You didn't have any lease?
No.
So you're a month-to-month tenant?
Sure.
Okay.
In principle.
Now, there's nothing he did to that place that you didn't know he was going to do, right?
Right.
And there was only, according to him, there's one thing, some shutters in an office window that you didn't like and you didn't approve.
That is right, partially.
Okay.
I didn't really like any of his colors, any of his fixtures, any of his stuff, but
you approved them?
Implicitly, because I didn't say no.
All right, so, and yet you have a counterclaim against him for $4,000 to restore it to how it looked before?
Yes.
Why?
Because I am
Why would he
going
have to pay to do that? Was that ever part of your agreement with him?
No.
So
No.
then why is it you're asking me to enforce an agreement that doesn't exist? What happened between you two? Let's get to the nitty gritty. Okay, what happened between you two that puts us here today?
Okay, what happened was that we have been friends forever. I was very supportive of him. Fast forward a couple of months, he moves into the home and he starts just taking over. And it's like, man, like this is not what I had in mind.
How does he start taking over?
Well, I think he started using his project manager brain, and I think that took over. Then he comes to stay in my home, and he decides that he's going to demolish that room and put it back together the way he
All
wants.
I did was paint, put in new plumbing, and whatever else. And if you don't want it to, you say no. But you
Absolutely.
didn't say no.
I didn't say no.
How else did he take over, quote unquote?
Behaviorally.
Okay, let's talk about that.
He's overbearing.
He's overbearing.
Very overbearing. He's a very driven person. So am I, but we have completely different communication styles, and so he just took over.
Give me an example.
I gave him the name of my contractor that has done work for me over the years, and he called his subcontractors and started telling them, okay, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, and why aren't you here? And it's like, we needed this yesterday, and it's like...
Oh, so he was rude to the people who you work with?
Oh, absolutely,
Okay.
yeah. My son was mad at him because Wayne, soon after he moved in with me, he started yelling at me, and I didn't like that. And
How?
so,
What would he yell at you for?
when we would be at the business meetings, we had financial planning meetings every week, and he would disagree with something, and he would just start yelling. So my son got mad at him one time.
Was your son at the meetings?
Yeah, he was. My son is also my business partner.
Okay.
So he was at the meetings, and he told him, "You are not to speak to my mom in those terms."
Okay.
And
did you ever tell him, hey, who do you think you are? You don't talk to me like that. I'm the boss.
I didn't tell him in that way. I was very nice, but I did tell him.
See, you know what I think happened here? I think that you had a 25-year friendship with somebody, and then you put them in a place where you can't respect boundaries. You have to respect boundaries, and the boundaries are respect isn't the right term. You have to understand boundaries. If he's your friend, he's your friend. He's in the friend zone. Okay, keep him in the friend zone. If you're going to employ him, and you want him to be your employee. And he's used to 25 years of talking to you however he wants to talk to you because he didn't magically become overbearing.
No.
You know, those are the things you liked about him. You know, and now all of a sudden he's not acting like an employee, and you feel he's disrespecting you in front of other people and all that stuff. What's a problem that you manage in so short a time to be fired and thrown out of the apartment?
So would you hire somebody that you knew for a long, long time, say 25 years? Would you hire them to work for you?
Possibly.
Really?
Yeah.
Till you take a chance on the friendship?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you?
I would not, because a friend is a friend. You don't mix the two together. Business stays separate.
What if the friend is actually a good worker? Would you take the chance and roll the dice?
Yes, I would.
You would risk the friendship, though, right?
Yes, I would. Yeah. If he's my friend, I'll do anything for him. If that means he needs a job, I'll give him a job.
And if he does a lousy job, you'll cut him like a bad habit.
Then I'll fire him.
There you go, going inside the courtroom.
I think you hit the nail on the head in the sense that it was one of those things where she brought forward her viewpoint, and I didn't necessarily agree with the viewpoint. And I treated her like I had treated her for 25 years.
Right.
And I never agreed with her on many occasions.
As opposed to treating her like your landlord and your boss.
Right.
Because that's never who you were with her. But that's a problem, isn't it?
Yeah,
because she is your boss,
Correct.
and she is your landlord, and you have a month-to-month tenancy.
Yes.
And so it was just kind of a bad idea because now you've ruined a 25-year friendship over it. It's
Yes.
awful.
It's regrettable.
Yes.
Who fired you? She fired you or her son?
Ultimately, it came through her son.
And then what came first, that or the apartment? First they fired you, then you were able to continue to
Yeah,
live
and
there?
there was a text to the effect that, I can still live there as long as I need to. There's no rush until such time as I find another job.
Okay,
move on.
and so how much longer did you live there?
He came, my hours were reduced on October the 1st, and it was October the 11th when I was asked to leave. And basically,
So in between October the 1st and October the 11th, what happened to change that you could stay there?
Well, actually, he came in and confronted me because I used some language in the course of my email that led him to believe that I was taking this up with legal counsel. I used the word counsel because I was talking to my friends about it, but I used the word counsel. And he was like, well, what is this all about? And I said, it's nothing. I just want to pay.
Here's the thing. You get to stay and do whatever you want. It's just that so does the other person.
Sure.
That's all it's about.
Yeah.
But then you also take the good with the bad, because if you're an at-will tenant, because you're essentially then you get him 1 month's notice.
Yeah.
And that's what he gave you, and then you moved out, correct? There's no question about it. So essentially you are here to say, I beautified a place, I thought I'd get to stay there longer, it turns out I was wrong. That doesn't give you legal recourse to get the money you put in there back. It doesn't, okay? And then you're here to say, he's suing me, so I'm suing him back, unless there was an agreement between you as a landlord and him as a tenant that any beautifications, modifications, updates that he's doing, he would have to take out and restore to its original condition. That's fine, okay? But you don't have that.
No, I
So
don't.
just like he doesn't have a legal leg to stand on, you don't have a legal leg to stand on. So on your lawsuit against her, I am voting for her. And on your lawsuit against him, I am voting for him, okay? And that's how I'm ruling that way.
Sure.
Okay, goodbye, folks.
Well, this case comes out as a wash. Nobody wins. What's your feeling on how it worked out?
Well, I think the loss is the loss of the friendship, and that's tragic.
Is this a reparable situation, the friendship?
I'm always hopeful.
Are you going to reach out?
Yeah, I mean, sure. I think I do. I mean, that's the way I am.
All right, and so you don't collect anything on your side either. What's your feeling coming out of the courtroom here? There goes your friend of 25 years.
I think the friendship was rather one-sided, but it's disappointing.
Why did you let that happen?
I think I was too kind, too easygoing, too tolerant until I reached my limit.
So your defense here is you're too nice.
I am too nice. Yes, I am very nice. Yeah.
Do you want him as a friend still?
It would be great to reconsider that option.
You're too nice.
I am.
Harvey?
I got to tell you, if you are going to hire a friend, that's where you have a sit down and you say, look, let's go through specifically what I expect of you, what you expect of me. If you don't do that, that's when the friendship is really going to be at great risk. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.